Picture this. You have just reached the absolute pinnacle of your career. You're returning to your hometown as the newly appointed district magistrate, a highly respected government official, riding in this impressive official convoy. You look out the window, and right there, herding goats by the side of a dirt road in the pouring rain, is the ex-wife you divorced 8 years ago. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be looking at a deeply emotional, honestly fascinating narrative all about ambition, betrayal, and a pretty dramatic path to redemption.
It's a staggering visual, isn't it? I mean, you have a powerful official on one side and a struggling goat herder on the other. How in the world did these two people, who were once bound by marriage, end up on such radically different paths? And more importantly, how could a rift this wide, spanning nearly a decade, ever possibly be repaired? Okay, let's dive into this and unpack exactly what happened, starting right at the very beginning.
Part 1. The Flashback. Ambition and Betrayal.
So to really understand the present, we've got to rewind the clock. 8 years ago, this relationship was built during a time of intense ambition and pressure. And honestly, things fell apart incredibly rapidly. In month 1, Arjun was a man obsessed. He was studying 10 hours a day, sometimes deep into the night, completely driven by this singular dream to become an IAS officer, a top-tier civil servant. He marries Savita, who's this wonderfully supportive and optimistic woman, but the pressure cooker bursts when Arjun fails his first major exam. The whole atmosphere in the house just sours. Shortly after that, Arjun's mother falsely accuses Savita of stealing money from a cupboard. Savita pleads her innocence, literally swearing she hasn't touched a single rupee. But Arjun? He says absolutely nothing. He stays completely silent, and within weeks, the marriage is legally dissolved in court.
As they parted ways, Savita delivered this absolutely crushing realization to Arjun. It wasn't just the false accusation of theft that destroyed their marriage, it was his failure to defend her. His silence in the face of blatant injustice was the ultimate betrayal of her trust.
Part 2. The 8-year separation. Let's move to and see how this builds.
8 years. I mean, just think about how much happens in nearly a decade. The ink dries in the divorce papers, and their lives completely diverge. For Arjun and Savita, this wasn't just a simple passage of time. It was a really heavy emotional weight, characterized by immense, completely separate struggles.
While Arjun completely isolated himself, facing repeated exam failures year after year, yet stubbornly refusing to give up that IAS dream, Savita's world collapsed even further. Her father actually fell ill and passed away simply because they could not afford proper medical treatment. Left entirely alone with her younger sister Neelam, Savita flat out refused to beg. Instead, she took a small loan, bought a few goats, and started a goat-rearing business just to survive and pay for her sister's school fees. She literally half-starved herself to ensure her sister got an education. Despite losing her marriage, her reputation, and her father, Savita's resilience was just incredible. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is her fierce determination. Guided by this unwavering belief that honest hard work could turn a small beginning into something big, she turned a couple of goats into a genuine means of survival. And in the process, she earned the deep, deep respect of her entire village.
Part 3. The Return of the Collector.
The wheel of time keeps turning, right? Arjun gives his final IAS exam attempt absolutely everything he has, and finally, after 8 long years of failure, he passes. He's appointed as the district magistrate, the collector of the very area where Savita lives. But his triumphant return is immediately shattered by reality. From his official car, he spots a familiar face, Savita, out there herding goats. Shocked, he later asks a local elder about her. The elder details the tragic death of Savita's father, her immense poverty, and how she single-handedly educated her sister without ever asking for a handout. The village considers her a shining example of honesty. Hearing this, a crushing wave of guilt just washes over Arjun. He finally realizes the true magnitude of the injustice he allowed to happen 8 years ago.
Now, Arjun attempts to fix things the easy way. He approaches Savita, offers a basic apology, and tries to use his new governmental power to fast-track road repairs and livestock schemes for her village. But Savita firmly rejects his simple apology with these exact words. And honestly, she is entirely right. You can't just slap a bureaucratic bandage on nearly a decade of deep emotional trauma and abandoned trust. Words clearly aren't enough here. It requires real action.
Part 4. The Flood and the Rescue.
Nature kind of forces the issue here, in a terrifying way. A massive storm hits the region. Heavy, relentless rains trigger a sudden, violent flash flood. Arjun receives an urgent dispatch. The road near the village is entirely underwater,
And Savita, along with her goats, which are literally her entire livelihood, is trapped right in the middle of the raging rapids.
And Arjun? He doesn't hesitate for a second. He races to the scene. Completely disregarding the warnings of his staff and the very real danger of the fast-flowing water, the district magistrate plunges directly into the flood. He physically risks his own life, fighting the currents to pull Savita and her livestock to safety, one by one. It's a desperate, physical proof of his remorse.
Part 5. Apology and Redemption. This crazy, life-threatening act of bravery acts as a massive catalyst. It cracks the ice of 8 years of stubbornness and pain. Following the rescue, a truly pivotal moment occurs. Seeing what nearly just happened, Arjun's mother steps forward in front of everyone. She publicly confesses her guilt. She openly admits she falsely accused Savita of stealing the money all those years ago, entirely clearing Savita's name of the stain that had ruined her life.
Arjun then gathers the village and strips away his prestigious title. So the crucial point is, he tells them he isn't speaking to them as their powerful district magistrate, but as a man who completely failed his wife when she needed him most. He takes total public accountability for his weakness and his silence, basically stating that achieving his career goals meant absolutely nothing while carrying the heavy guilt of his betrayal.
Savita is now faced with his massive choice. She acknowledges that she can never fully forget the pain of the past, but she bravely decides she doesn't want to live the rest of her life defined by it. She chooses to give life and Arjun a second chance. Arjun vows that his silence is a thing of the past and that they're going to face every future hardship together. In a really beautiful resolution, they remarry with the entire village right there celebrating their reunion.
It's just an incredible journey. From a broken marriage caused by silence through 8 brutal years of isolated struggle to a dramatic rescue and a totally public claiming of accountability. It leaves us with this final thought. Arjun spent 8 years striving for career success, but his true redemption only came when he risked his life and his pride to fix a terrible mistake. What do you think matters more in the end? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this story gives you something profound to think about today.